The next thing we're going to talk about are fonts and what you can do with them. Now, with a font, there's basically, for the font itself, there's basically three things that you can affect to the font. I mean, aside from the underlining and bolding and so forth. It's the size of the font, it's the type of the font, and it's the color of the font. Of course, there's all kinds of other things you can do as well, but we're not going to get too deeply into that. I'll let you do that when you are free to sort of go wild with your page. But for the time being, we're just going to keep it simple. And so let's start with just changing the color of the font. And we're going to take John's web page here. So this one that's in H1. And remember, you're going to have to bracket things. I don't know if I've talked to you about this, but notice that everything here is bracketed between HTML and this one right here, the HTML at the bottom, okay? And the title is bracketed between the head tags and, let's see, this one here, everything, the ordered list has the LIs bracketed between them and so forth. So within the within the H1 font, the H1 tags, we're going to type font, a font tag, F-O-N-T, okay, and then on the inside right here, we're going to close it with another font tag. Okay, now, as we did down here with the height, what we're going to do is we're going to go inside, and up here with the body, okay, we're going inside the font tag now. We're going to hit a space, and we're going to change the color. So we want to have a specific color. So we're going to say font color equals, and it's the same deal as we did before with the background color. You can go back to the hexadecimal charts that we used before, okay, right here, if you want. Or you can just be simple like I am and type some standard color like yellow. So let's save that and watch what happens. F5. Okay, so now John's web page is nice and bright. This banner needs to do something as well. So let's go back to the marquee right here. And same deal, we're gonna, let me just be lazy here. Just take this one right here and Control-C, copy it. Remember, it's inside here. Now, just as an aside, I want to show you something. Let's say I get rid of this closing font here. There's no closing font now. I just want to show you this. This is very interesting. If I don't have a closing font, let's say I take this away. Watch what happens when I save and redo it. Everything becomes yellow all the way down to the bottom, except of course for the hyperlink. So that's what happens when you don't have a closing tag. So you always want to make sure where a closing tag is required to make sure that there's one there. So let me go back and put this one right here. All right, so going back, I want to change the size now. We're not going to do the color, but we're going to change the size of the marquee. So I just go size. Makes sense, doesn't it? And I'm going to make it 12. Okay. Well, let's just make it 20. Let's see what happens. And I'm going to save. Come over here, and notice what's going to happen because I put a closing tag after John's web page. It's going to all go back. Now look at the size of that. That's a little bit bigger than I want it to be. So I'm going to bump that down to 12, and that's the size I want you to make it. And again, the reason I ask you to do this is so that I can judge everybody equally. Okay, so that's, I believe that's size 12. Did that change? Did that really change? Yeah, it did. All right, so size 12. And so that's how you change the font size and the font color. If you want to change the font type, I mean, I can change the size, I can change the type. Type equals Arial. Color equals red. Okay, so notice I'm still just in the font tag here. Okay, I just added these other parameters here. So I've got size, type, and color. If I hit save, And do this. Did change the font. Okay. Is it Arial with an E? Comic Sans. Save. Let's try that. Maybe I misspelled it. No, it's not type. It's something else. Face. And it's not face. Well, let's try Arial again. Ah, it is face. It's just that Comic Sans doesn't seem to be one of the ones that wants to work. So if you wanted to do that, and again, not for this web page, for this one, just make it this. Keep it simple. I guess if you want to change the type, you can go ahead, but keep it at size 12. And there we go. Oops. Now, why didn't that work? I keep saying work, work. Well, I forgot to save over here, so I'm going to go Control S over here, and there we go. Back to normal.